Okay, so today we're going to start a Dylusions Classics journal. And this is a little bit weird. Because it has cardstock pages, black pages, and craft pages, right? So when we think about it, we have these ones that cross the difference. There's going to be a signature in here somewhere where you can see the sewing lines. So this is 4 pages of craft, front and back, 8. Then you're going to have your white ones, right? And this is 4 pages of white ones. And then it is the signature. And then here's 4 pages of black ones. So that's what's happening. And so I think that you could do this a number of different ways. So number one, I make huge, giant, fat books, right? Like all my journals look like this. So for sure, I am going to wind up taking pages out of this book at some point. So one of the things I'm going to keep a little bit of a mind of is like using this signature, and this signature together, right? Like, so that's almost going to be like a little mini book inside of this book. And then if I wanted to take some pages out, I could take, like, say, one of these out, one of the craft out, and one of the black out, right? So there's a black part missing in here. It kind of goes, no, it goes that way, right? It goes cardstock, black, cardstock, craft, cardstock, black, cardstock, craft. So there's never a craft and a black signature together. So today we're going to start thinking about what we're going to do. And maybe I won't do the middle signature because that can be a little bit problematic sometimes. Let's do the front signature. Because I may want to take out, and then I'm going to want to take out throughout the book. Whenever you're doing that would be considered an altered book, right? When you start tearing things out, you don't want to be taking all of, say, the middle signature out, right? You'd want to take out some in the kind of the middle, the front. You'd want to change it up a little bit. Otherwise, your book becomes very weak. Okay, so we are going to do this. And Desi had wanted to, we have some Vogue Italia images, and we're going to take a peek at them. There's going to be a whole bougie video about the Vogue Italia people. But, so she wants the colorful people on the black, and the black and white people. Hold on, I have a black and white people. Hang on. And then this black and white person on the craft, right? So she got to pick some images, so we're going to do that. So we want to think about how we're going to frame this, because for me, I want to start with framing it. And I think I'm going to do, I don't think I have black. So I'm going to do scattered straw over here to kind of mimic, this is distress paint. And I'm going to do yellow over here. So on the black, I want the black to be the color. On here, I want the yellow to be the background color. So let's get a color of paint. So for this is mixed media paper, okay? So Diane Ravely's journals are all mixed media paper. One thing that is cool about her journals is if you start looking at her spines, it'll tell you, so when you have them in your cupboard, it'll tell you what they have. So this one is striped because it has different colored papers in it. This one is white, is plain because it has all the same colored papers in it. They have kind of a fancy system about that. Okay, so we're going to get this out of here. We're going to go back to here. And we're gonna start putting a little paint down around the edges because that's where I like my paint. We're gonna wet it. Oh, you can really see it on the black. It's kind of fun. Okay, so I am going to, okay, I'm gonna use my craft mat over here. And I'm gonna grab a brush and I'm gonna put a little bit of water. Whenever I use distress paint, I like to have a wet paint brush because distress reacts with water and so it will spread further. I think I have too much paint, but that's okay. We're gonna work this. Because we're gonna come back in here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna let it rest for a wee second. Maybe get a little bit of, where's my paper towels? Where's my kitchen roll? Okay, let's get some of this paint out of here. All right, see, it's more opaque when you've got less water. Opaque meaning you can't see through it, but I'm just kind of honestly trying to get a base color of paint right in this second. Okay. And I don't want to cover up all this lovely black, right? Like I didn't get a journal with black pages in it to totally cover it up and make it another color. I want the challenge of figuring out how I'm going to use black. But I always wind up with a border and I just like to have a kind of a little bit of a color around here. I'm going to come back to this one. Now for this one, oh, our paper dried. I'm going to go on the middle of this. Do I have a brighter yellow? I have a brighter yellow. Oh, wait. We got lemonade. We got really bright yellow. Okay. So let's do this. I can just do this on here. And I knew I had one of these guys. We're going to use a spreader sponge. That's just a makeup sponge from the dollar store. And we're going to give a little squirt to our paint. And then we're just going to spread this around, this color a little bit over here. And that is a very light color. I like it. What do you think? I think that's very cool. Okay, so now what we're going to do with this is we're going to get a stencil. Oh, I have new stencils. We're going to try this one. This is Elizabeth St. Hilaire? I don't know how to say that. I'm sure she's very fancy. Anyways, I get my stencils from Joggles. If you want to get this stencil, I will put a link to it in there. I have found that for really cool, unique design stencils, I like Joggles. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's do this. And now I'm going to come over here and I'm not going to wet it. I'm going to put a little bit of wild honey over here. I'm going to put on wild honey. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we're going to get that a teeny bit wet because we want it to move. And then we're going to do this. But I want it to be pretty thin, right? I want that cool yellow to still show through. Oh, that's great. Okay. So now I'm going to do a little bit more over here. I don't want it all over. I just want it in some places. Okay. And then let's do a little bit over here. I'm going to do a little bit over here. And then a teeny tiny bit up here. Okay. There we go. So just a little bit here and there to get a little interest in that background. All right. And so now I'm going to take, and you don't need all these colors. That was Wild Honey, Lemonade, and Mustard Seed. Okay. So now we have yellow. I feel like I have a lot of blue, and blue and yellow are great colors to go together, right? And I have pink. So if we do Do you want blue or pink? You get to pick. All right. So while we're thinking about that, let's do this. Let's do this. I want a little bit of this water out of here. And I have to put multiple, this is a really terrible brush. I have to put multiple coats of this paint on anyways because it is opaque. It is never gonna be totally solid. I think I'm gonna get a better brush though. That brush has to go. It's got to go. All right, let's see. Can we get a better brush? Oh, there we go. Isn't it amazing how when you use good tools, you get a better result? Crazy, I know. Okay. And you may not see much of this in the final artwork. A lot of times I'll cover this with different papers or things like that, but I like to have kind of a frame situation happening, so if I don't have everything covered, I still don't feel like a weirdo. Okay, okay, I think I need a little bit more. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. And that distress paint is expensive. I don't know if it's as expensive as golden paint or any of the fancy artist paints, but it's more expensive than, say, the apple paint from Walmart, right? And so at first I was like, geez Louise, this is super expensive. But then come to find out it lasts twice as long. So I have found, and I have a little video about distress paint if you want to see more about it. It's over in the, if you go look at the videos, I'll put a little link to it here too. There we go. All right, might as well put all of this on here. So oh look, we got some cool yellow too, nice. All right, I'm gonna pick a unifying color to be the inside of this and the outside of this. So let's pick a color. I'm thinking we could do either like a picked raspberry or a salvaged patina. Which would you like? I am thinking salvaged patina. Okay, so let's clean out this brush. My water is disgusting. Okay, here we go. So I am going to cheat a little bit because I'm feeling a little bit lazy, and I'm just going to do this over here rather than putting it out on the palette. See, this is a more opaque one, and it's going on to a lighter color. So we're going to need less paint. That's straw. So if I had used regular acrylic, right, over here, it's not going to be as loosey-goosey on the black because they're always more, regular acrylic paints are more opaque. Distress acrylic paints have different opaquenesses depending on the paint. So this seems like it's kind of a thicker opacity. Than the scattered straw was, right? And it could also be that I put some water down. So there's so many factors. You got to figure out what's going on. Okay, okay. So I'm kind of digging the paper. I have used Diane Reevely's journals for a long time, so this craft paper feels, oops, people always ask why I shake. I shake because my wrists are weak from working on the internet for 20 years. So that is why I shake. Okay. So I kind of want these pages to go together, but I don't want them to be, I want them to be sisters, not twins. Right? So I'm going for a sister relationship, not a twinning relationship. Okay. I think I'm going to go all the way up there. And I'm pretty loosey-goosey with my painting. You could probably, you know, put lines or something if you want something to be more specific. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use this same stencil. Now, if you care about paint being on your stencil, you need to take it off while it's still wet, because distress paint is acrylic paint and it will dry permanent. That just isn't something that matters to me. Hey, Juicy, are you leaving?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Playing basketball.
Okay, have fun. Text me, okay?
Yeah.
All right. So, my son has been going out. He's the one that helped pick me all the Kobe Bryant stuff. But he's been going out to play with his friends. It's summer. And he's been having a grand old summer so far this year, which is fun. He's 13, so this is kind of the first summer that he has pretty much total freedom. He can leave now and come back at like I did when I was little. Here we go. Cool. Cool. That's a little weirder. I had to do a little bit, but I like how this is coming out. All right, so I'm going to do some of this stuff, and then I will come back and tell you how I like the journal after I've done a few pages in it, because whenever I see somebody unboxing something, I'm like, yeah, that's great, but how did it work long term? So I'm going to do a few pages, and then you tell me if you think that you would like it. But I've been happy with it so far. I'll be back. Okay. So here is my take on the Classics journal, because I don't like to like unbox something and then just tell you about it and then not have any experience with it. So I've used regular Dylusions journals, which are these guys, and I really like this paper. So I was kind of excited when I heard that it had different kinds of paper in it. So we're gonna go through a few projects. Okay. This is all on cardstock, right? Because you have kind of every other page, you have some things. I just did a painted background. This is the merging of a light page and a dark page, and I played with that. I thought this was very fun. I don't know that I used the dark especially, but it was okay. I like glittery things on the dark. I think the dark, I was surprised, has some troubles with some of the materials. I did a whole video on how to use the dark, how to make backgrounds on the dark pages. I thought that this background was really good, but the craft, I think I've got to get used to using it, and I also think it like sucks up paint. I want to look at this page especially because I feel like I could paint the whole background, right? That would sort of defeat the purpose of having craft paper. So I tried to use it. I think I need to start doing like more vintagey things or more dark and brooding things. I don't know. All right, so then we did some more backgrounds. These two pages, this one's a work in progress, and this one is done. And this would be they're both the regular Dylusions paper. And I think that might be all the pages I've finished. There's a terrible thing with the craft. I'm going to warn everybody. Hold on. I have some good things and some bad things, and my stuff sticks together because I don't wait long enough. It has nothing to do with the paper. And I think it looks like texture. Okay, hold on. So the one thing you can't use is microglaze on the craft paper, meaning, so I did spray on these, and if you want to have layers that don't bleed, you have to put a layer on them of microglaze, and I put a layer of microglaze. Where did it go? I didn't tear it out because I was like, I can just fix this thing. Oh, it's back here. And look, it discolored the page. So it doesn't work on there. So my opinion, I think it's a fun challenge to have all those different kinds of pages and things like that. I don't know, if I was just starting, I would get a regular Dylusions journal like this because the paper's beautiful. It's all kind of a little bit coated, so it has a beautiful finish. You can put inks and dyes. So one of the things is, like on the black, you have a more muted tone. On the craft, you have a more muted tone. And I think that could, if you're just getting started, that could be a challenge that you don't need to add on top of getting started with your art. But if you're looking for something fun to try and try to push your creativity, I would totally get this again. Hopefully that helps. Tara Jacobsen, Artsy Fartsy Life.